How's it going, people? Let's talk wrestling, and we got a lot to talk about because we just get to it because the ending to SmackDown is it was a masterpiece. It was Oscar worthy. It's something that's going to be talked about for years down the line. Um, so, start of SmackDown, the tag team eliminator match. It started off with the Brawling Brutes and I forgot the team. I forgot the first team. I forgot the first team. Look at these notes real quick. Let's see. Start off with. Oh yeah, it was Brawling Brutes versus Primetime Players. Match ends with uh, Montez Ford tagging in, him going on a rampage, and Sheamus getting tagged back in, and they do a uh, drop down spot. Ridgehouse does the drop down. Not Montez, but Dawkins jumps over and catches a bro kick straight to the face. They're out of there. And then in come the Good Brothers. Um, Good Brothers go on a little bit of a run. Sheamus gets tagged back in. Um, well, no, Sheamus is still in the ring. He tries to tag Rich. Uh, Carl Anderson knocks off Ridge off the apron, and he takes a little bit of time to celebrate, which allows Sheamus to hit the bro kick on Anderson. They're out of there. Then after that, it's the LWO. LWO comes in. They have a decent match or whatever. But Sheamus gets the pinfall on that. Sheamus gets the pinfall on that. Then the Hit Row comes in. Hit Row comes in, and within 3 seconds, they get bro kicked to the face. They're out. And then the real match happens. And I guess the main difference between all these teams, they all sort of like rush in, whereas Pretty Deadly takes their time and like waits till they're set to get into the ring. In the end, Pretty Deadly does end up beating the Brawling Brutes. Even still, with Sheamus hitting the beats of the Byron on both the Pretty Deadly members. Um, that was a pretty cool looking thing. But so Sheamus, he hits the Irish Cross Power Slam or whatever, the Celtic Cross, yeah, that raises their Celtic Cross on Kip after he hit them with the beats of the Bowery. He lifts him up, hits that, but unbeknownst to him, the other Pretty Deadly member tags in, and while Sheamus is going for the cover, the guy comes down, leg drop off the top of the head to the back of the head of Sheamus. They get the pinfall 1, 2, 3. So now it sets up Pretty Deadly versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at Money in the Bank. So come back from a commercial. Pretty Deadly out in the ring, and then out comes Sami and Kevin. Sami says something about they've been there for 5. Look, the promos weren't great between both of the teams. It was kind of like, whatever. I'll give Pretty Deadly a little bit of a leeway because I've seen them do promos in NXT when they haven't wrestled a match. And after wrestling a match, unless you're just that guy, cutting a promo when you've done that type of cardio workout, it can be kind of difficult. So I'll give them a little bit of a pass. The Zayn and Kevin thing was kind of sloppy or whatever. I wouldn't say it was just it wasn't there. It eventually leads to Sami and Kevin run in to confront Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly run out. And I hate to say it, but put the titles on Pretty Deadly. They are an entertaining tag team. Nothing wrong with Kevin and Sami, but them as tag team champions, we have to admit it hasn't been going where you would think it would be. Or maybe they have put the right opponents with them. So still, and after that, oh, you had Selena Vega defeating Io Sky. So Io, she gets pushed into Bailey, kinda, and then Io backs up Selena Vega into a pinfall. But the referee's arguing with Bailey. She's arguing with Bailey. Io Sky has the pinfall, and then Io Sky after Selena Vega kicks out at 1, she goes over, argue with Bailey, like, why are you getting involved, blah, blah, whatever. Selena comes in with the 619 and bottom heavy Io Sky. This was an example of thick thighs not saving lives because she hit her with that 619 and she went on her back like a turtle. I'm talking about like the referee could have counted 1, 2, 3, even without Selena Vega being covering her. Like she was just whatever. So they're already putting these cracks in between Damage Control. I wonder if they're actually going to pull the trigger. It's probably going to be Dakota Kai coming back to help either Io or Bailey. Or Bailey's just going to betray Io or Io. Something's going to happen. They're just not going to allow. It's too much tension between Bailey and Io, especially with what happened afterwards. So, Shotzi Blackheart, she shows up to Io and Bailey backstage. She's like, "You're holding somebody back, and I could have beat you and put your spot on. You put your spot on the line, Bailey." And Io accepts on Bailey's behalf. So next we're going to get Bailey versus Shotzi for Bailey's spot in the Money in the Bank match. So a lot of tension building up between Damage Control. After that, you get the Grayson and Waller fit. Now, before this, you had Bianca Belair talking to Adam Pearce, and she's like, "Well, where's my rematch? Or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, I don't know about rematch." Now, the thing about WWE is, I kind of want to go Dr. Umar this situation, like, damn, they're not giving. But I guess it's really like picking and choosing because Charlotte didn't get a rematch with Rhea, and they don't typically do rematches just like set up like, oh, you lost the title, so we're going to have this thing. It's more of if it's draw money worthy or they write into the story. And most of the time they're like, okay, you lost the title, we're moving on to the next person. They don't, which is in a sense good because you don't get like 6-month dry feuds or trying to get the belt back and then okay, it's like, okay, you lost the belt, you start from the back, we're moving on, and so forth and so on. You get into a feud and then eventually. So in a sense, I do like that, but I could also see the problem with that because most of the time the champion who lost gets a rematch, but if you lose a belt, you're starting from the bottom and whatever. So Charlotte comes out to the Grayson Waller Fed, and Grayson Waller, I want to say his show's unnecessary because he's interviewing men, he's interviewing women. We don't really know too much about him besides he's like fake social media influence guy. He hasn't wrestled. So him having a show is really unnecessary. Grayson is like talking to Charlotte. He's like, "Oh, you beat Asuka's record at WrestleMania, but this is a different Asuka." And Charlotte's like, "I got Asuka's number." And then Bianca comes out, and Bianca, she's like, "You ran from Rhea," which it kind of does look that way because Rhea beat Charlotte for the title. Why is Charlotte over here on SmackDown trying to get this belt when Rhea's still on Raw with that belt? It does raise a huge concern of like, okay, are you scared of Rhea or what? Why are you here stepping on Bianca's toes for the belt? But they go back and forth. Charlotte's like, "I'm the line. I'm a 14-time champion." Then Bianca's like, "Oh, I'm the longest reigning women's champion in the modern era." Both, gloating in their accomplishments. And Bianca just ends it with, "Well, you got that title match, but I'm going to be sitting ringside, and whoever wins, I'm going to step in the ring, and I'm going to confront them and call my shot." So, you ultimately know, if WWE is smart, Asuka's going to retain that title. Bianca is going to turn heel, and it's going to start a Charlotte-Bianca feud without a title. Now, With that being said, where does Asuka go from here? Hopefully, they get her a credible challenger to go against. Moving on forward past that, uh, AJ Styles and Michin versus Karrion Cross and Scarlett. Karrion Cross and Scarlett win, and there was a point in the match where Scarlett, AJ Styles hit Styles Clash on Karrion. He's out. He's getting pinned. Scarlett comes over and pulls AJ off by the hair. She picks up AJ, or AJ gets up and she moves AJ's hair out of his face. AJ with the soccer mom cut, still rocking it. And she's like trying to seduce him or whatever. And he takes off his glove. And he's like, first of all, AJ Styles is wrestling with a ring under a glove. Why? Like, that's an injury waiting to happen. You're wrestling with a ring on your finger under a glove. Like, I would think like that would cause some type of like, it could twist this way or whatever. But whatever. I get maybe he put on for this match. I'm hoping he doesn't wrestle with his wedding ring under a glove. That could be considered a weapon too. Like, bro, like you're hitting people with a punch, and like I know his ring's probably like I'm thinking too much into this. But anyway, he takes the glove off. He shows Charlotte, "I'm married, bitch," and Karrion Cross in the background. He's on the ground laughing like a maniac. I'm talking about having a big gut busting laugh. Scarlett slaps him. Michin pulls Scarlett out. They do a double bill hair thing on the outside. Karrion Cross comes up behind AJ, puts him in the Weaver. Then hits him with the cross jacket. Then does a pump handle F5 DDT. I don't know what that was, but he wins with that. So obviously this isn't a finish. AJ Styles and Karrion Cross, this feud is far from finished. Yeah. And then you have Rey Mysterio coming out and saying, "Oh well, Santos, you have a chance to win the Money in the Bank." And then Santos like, "I'm doing this for everybody. I'm doing this for my family. Blah 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 blah. Other people who didn't believe me, whatever. People who don't believe in you. Trying to make Escobar the new baby face." Out comes LA Knight. LA Knight comes out. He goes to shake Rey Mysterio's hand. Then he pushes Rey. They get into a fight. The match starts. The people are behind LA Knight. LA Knight went for that elbow drop. He hit the thing, and the crowd was just all into it. Match ends with Santos on Escobar's shoulders. They go to the ropes. He rolls through. LA Knight catches him, tries to hold the ropes. Santos uses his leg, flips him over, and uses the ropes himself to pin LA Knight 1, 2, 3. LA Knight attacks Santos after the match. Rey Mysterio comes out for the save. I would say still solid. It was a solid match for what it was. Then after that, you had what everybody's gonna be talking about. So Roman Reigns comes out, then Jay comes out. He asks Jay, "Are you going to be with us or against us?" And Jay is like, "Well, I would be, but you got to get Paul Heyman out." And Roman's like, "Bruh, Paul Heyman's not part of the bloodline. He's my wise man. He's not the bloodline's wise man. He doesn't help. He's helped me. If you become Tribal Chief, you got to get your own wise man. And I'm trying to help you. Your brother's trying to hold you back." Jimmy comes out. And Jimmy's like, "No, man, Roman's been manipulating us our whole lives and whatever." And then Roman says, "Look, when he went out, we molded you to become main event Jey Uso, the right hand man. Your brother was against all that. Your brother didn't want to see you see. Your brother didn't want to see you win, but we did." DJ Khaled. And then they asked Jimmy. Jimmy's like, "Is that true?" He's like, "Yeah, I didn't want you to be the right hand man." He's like, "Oh man." Jay's like, "Oh man, really I thought I was facing him, but it's you, man. Mr. Prom King, Mr. Most Likely to Succeed. I thought it was, us against him competing a whole lot, but really it's you against me. You trying to tear down me. But you know what? You out of the bloodline." And then this is where the masterpiece, the magic happens. He waits a second, and Roman, he's having this big laugh. He's like, yeah, got him. Yeah, it feels good. Jay says, and I'm out too. And Roman's face in a second just turns. What? What did he say? Jay super kicks Roman. Solo Cole is sitting there shocked. Everybody played a huge role in this with the facial emotions, the facial expression. Solo's looking like, bruh, did you really? He tried to super kick, he tried to attack Jay. Jimmy super kicks him, and then they double super kick Solo. Rowan gets up, and he's like, "You doing this to me? I made you guys. How what? I can't." And as he's getting up, ranting and raving, double super kick, and he's laid out. So Usos are out of the bloodline. I don't think this is the end of the bloodline. I don't, because they're gonna bring somebody else in. They're gonna bring. They're gonna bring in another tag team. Or maybe it might just be Roman Solo, but they could bring in who would make sense in the bloodline to replace the Usos. I'm trying to think. Is there any Samoans working in WWE that would make sense? I'm trying to think of a tag team that would fit in with Roman. I guess that's gonna be the difficult part. I mean, I would say you can't say Pretty Deadly. They just got there and they already were Austin Theory. Hit Roll Jokes, LWO, Good Brothers are with OC. Smackdown. They would have to bring up Schism, but Schism is also sometimes completely a joke. And then you have Joe Gacy, who is a manipulating leader, just like Roman. So that would clash also. So I'm trying to think of a tag team that would work here. That wouldn't just like obviously stick out like a sore thumb. Like, oh, why are they there? Like, maybe I do think they're gonna try something to hold Roman together with a group. I just really can't see now. Solo Roman, what missing piece could they do to fill the Usos shoes? I gotta sit on this one. I gotta think about it. You guys in the comment section, let me know if since the Usos have left, what team would you pick and from the current WWE roster? You know how WWE, they're not gonna get somebody from the Indies to come in there. They're not doing any of that. What team from the current roster, NXT, SmackDown, Raw, could fill those shoes and it wouldn't be like, yeah, this is stupid? Who would fit in that Roman playbook? So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna catch you guys later, and yeah, peace out.